This week, Ivanka Trump stepped out of Washington and into the spotlight in an appearance in Wisconsin. We met up with her in Milwaukee, and for this Father's Day, the first daughter shared some pride and insight on her groundbreaking role. Do you have an official title?
Yes, I'm an advisor to the president.
In your months in Washington, have you found the establishment or the swamp, whatever you call it, more deeply entrenched than perhaps you expected? What would you say about that?
It is definitely an interesting environment to navigate, and these are early days in terms of my own experience. So, I love to believe on a personal level that many of the issues I care deeply about should transcend politics. Workforce development, educating this next generation to enable them to have meaningful and well-paying jobs in the future. Ideas like paid family leave and human trafficking, but sadly, nothing is without its politics. So you learn to navigate it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we all went to Washington to try to have a very meaningful and positive impact. We already see this happening with the president, and I hope I can be additive to that as well.
I can assume, I guess, that you traveled extensively before all of this around the world?
And around the country. During 2 years of the campaign, we traveled all across America, and it was a life-changing experience for me and my siblings as well.
When you went on this first big foreign trip, starting with Saudi Arabia, a Muslim-majority country, were you under the impression that perceptions of America are changing around the world, and if so, how?
I think what you saw in Saudi Arabia was remarkable. In terms of the collaboration and the unification in terms of unifying towards a common goal of eradicating terrorism and recognizing it as a major problem that has to be dealt with as a collective. So it was the first time that you had 54 Muslim and Arab leaders come together and highlight the problem and agree to work collectively towards a solution. So it was a remarkable experience, and it was an amazing thing to see, and I'm incredibly proud of my father for having been able to accomplish that. It was very, very exciting to see almost $400 billion worth of transactions that will benefit American industry and American workers. So the fact that in Saudi Arabia alone, you had this epic and really historic meeting of Muslim and Arab leaders to discuss terrorism and how to work together to combat it, but also you had the promotion of American industry and American business is really rather remarkable.
And I think that escaped a lot of the news coverage. In fact, if you watch what's reported on the news, a lot of times you don't get that part of it. You may get something that they think the president said that was wrong or a misstep that he took, but not necessarily the policy issues.
That is true, but results ultimately speak for themselves, and I think you're seeing the results. You're seeing the results manifesting themselves with record low unemployment rates, with a soaring economy, and I'm very optimistic that that will continue to happen as policies are implemented that are pro-business and pro-American working family.
Faced with the sort of opposition that comes daily just in a political environment, what do you say to yourself at the end of the day that makes you get up the next day and go do it again?
I think putting in perspective the challenges that are being faced by Americans across this country and why we came to Washington and the problems we want to take on and solve. So I think that, for me, puts it in perspective. I feel very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing and contribute in some small way, and it's really an honor for me.
On Thursday, with Ivanka by his side, the president signed an executive order to expand apprenticeships, one program that's likely to draw bipartisan support.